Welcome to Pet Pals. I'm Dee Dee and this is Randy, and we are at Frederick County Animal Control, and we are bringing some adoptable animals for you to view and hear a little bit about your animal shelter at 1832 Rosemont. And our first guest today is Abby, and Abby is a retriever mix, as you can plainly see, and she's about 6. And she came to us from a family who couldn't keep her anymore, so we do know her age. Sometimes people are surprised at how dogs age. And what I mean by that is the gray hair. And certainly I can speak from experience, and Randy can speak from experience, that gray hair does not mean you're old. So because Abby has a white face, people think she's older than 6, and so she has been here a little bit of time because people don't want to adopt an older dog commonly. But I can say I'm always in favor of it because of a few things. Number one, you know what you're getting. Abby is mellow. She likes people. She can be a little shy with strangers, which has the good side of meaning she doesn't jump up on people. She doesn't chase people she doesn't know, run towards people she doesn't know. She's very polite. So the other thing about getting an older dog is that you know what you're getting. This is how big she's going to be. This is the personality that she's going to have. And the last reason is kind of a selfish reason. If you get a puppy and you are, say, 30, you are still going to have that dog potentially when you're 45. And the changes in your life that happen between 30 and 45 could include a joining of a family, a breaking up of a family, having kids go away to college. And all of those things result in people giving up their dogs. What Randy's laughing at is we have an aquarium of teeny weeny little animals that you're going to meet later. They're quite far away, but Abby has spied them, and her body shape is somewhat like a sighthound, so I'm not surprised if she's part greyhound or whippet or something like that. She would be able to clearly see moving animals at a distance. In fact, that would be something she inherited and was meant to do. If you are interested in adopting, please come and check out the shelter first. Sometimes we don't have the pet that's right for you, but we can help you find someone who does, breeders and other sources of animals like rescue groups that work with us. But I think Abby is going to make somebody a really wonderful companion, and certainly we would like to see her adopted pretty soon because she's been here a couple weeks. We are back with Ted. And Ted, as you can clearly see, is a beagle, and he's about 4 years old. He was taken in from an ad on Craigslist, and they only had him for a week. They put up a baby gate. He did not bother the cats. He did not bother the chinchilla, but he and the dog that was already in the family didn't like each other. So they put up a baby gate, which he jumped over. So they decided to bring him to the shelter. I don't know if they called the person on Craigslist that they acquired him from and offered him back to them, but often is the case when someone has to rehome their dog on Craigslist, they're not always in a position to take them back. So Ted is here, and since we only know what that family experienced in a week, we can certainly go by what we have experienced. What a great guy. This dog is friendly, he likes people. We like knowing that he was in a house for a week and fine with a chinchilla and some cats. There are some tiny little animals off camera, as I said earlier, he doesn't care at all. So I think he's gonna make somebody a great dog. The great part about beagles is that when they are raised around people inside, they love people, they love snuggling, they love to be handled, they make really great pets. And I think that he has a lot to offer, especially people who like beagles, because he's all the good things about beagle rolled into one. Also, the fact that he's 4 years old is kind of nice, because that means that you can see the personality that he's going to have, and he's still young enough to do whatever you want to do. Now, beagles are what we call easy keepers. Everybody that farms knows what that means. He could stand to lose a pound or two, but nothing about his weight is hurting him right now. It's just that he's obviously going on a trend in the wrong direction, as many of us are. And so we would caution anyone who adopt him to just talk to your vet about how much food he should have and how to adjust it accordingly, because he's very treat motivated. So if you would like to work on tricks with Ted, which I recommend because he'll enjoy it, you'll enjoy it, and you'll learn how to communicate with each other. But use treats to motivate him to learn, and then cut back on his meals. So the total amount of calories he gets during the day is fair. And as you can see, loves an ear rub, he loves belly rubs. This is a really nice dog. We are back with Bella, and Bella is a Shih Tzu, but she's quite a tiny Shih Tzu. Shih Tzus can be anywhere between 6 or 7 pounds all the way up to 15 or 18 pounds, and she's really little. She also right now has a very short haircut, and you don't have to maintain a Shih Tzu that way. You can have the long flowing hair and carry them around on a velvet pillow if you so choose. But we cut her hair because it's easier to care for her this way. And also with dogs that have the tiny pushed in face, there's a couple things you need to be aware of. The first is that their hair can poke them in the eye. And I know that sounds pretty inconvenient, and it is. So one of the reasons for keeping their hair short, at least on their face, is to keep their eyes healthy and clear of whiskers and hair that bother them. The other thing about dogs with a little pushed in face is in the hot weather, dogs only sweat from the palms of their feet, the pads on their feet. And they cool themselves with air exchanges by opening their mouth and breathing out moist air and drawing in dry, cooler air. So when it's humid and warm, they have a really hard time using that cooling system that is built in. So dogs with a pushed in face have an even harder time because they don't have as much surface for the air to get in and change temperature and get out and change temperature. So you have to be very careful with short-faced dogs in hot weather. Luckily, we are having a beautiful early fall, and certainly soon it'll be winter and spring, so she'll do just fine. Sometimes people worry if you cut a dog's hair that they can't stay warm in the winter. Dogs do not have as much trouble staying warm as they do cooling, but obviously with this little tiny dog, yes, she might need a sweater this winter, at least a raincoat if it's rainy, so she can stay dry and then come in and shake all of that off. And she certainly is the kind of dog who might be amenable to wearing clothes. So if you think that Bella would make a nice match for you or someone that you know, please let us know or pass her picture around. We are back with Magnolia. And Magnolia, as you can plainly see, is a puppy. She is under 9 months old and over 6 months old. We can tell that by her teeth. She's having a little pepperoni treat. She is some kind of hound mix, and she came to us from Braddock Heights, and no one has said they're missing her. We check the Frederick Lost and Found Facebook page, which is run by a really nice lady locally, Sherry, and she makes sure that everyone knows to call the shelter with their lost report, and she collects pictures on that Facebook page. She calls us herself and tries to make matches. About 30% of people find a dog and they don't bring the dog to the shelter. They try to find the owner on their own. So if you are missing your dog, or if you have found a dog, please let us know so we can be the hub in making sure that people find each other. What can happen that surprises people? Magnolia, you're just not even there. She has a very nice tail wag. So when you're matching lost dogs with people, it's very hard to realize how the map goes unless you look, and dogs can travel 5 to 10 miles from home and seemingly be in a completely different area of the county, a completely different neighborhood, street names you don't recognize. So please don't go by that when you're trying to find your lost dog. Magnolia is very young, so as you all may know by now, we take 4 applications and try to find the one that is the best match for her, because I cannot tell you how many people I sit down and talk to about how much work a puppy is, and almost everyone knows that. Of course, you know that puppies are lots of work. Like this, she doesn't know how to walk on a leash, and she has to learn that. And Randy does a combination of letting her experience the leash tight and then also encouraging her to come to him and get rewarded for letting it be there. You can imagine what a weird experience that is. She is a good girl and she needs a home, and she's just the perfect age to take home because her house training is going to be short and simple. She's old enough to hold it and young enough to still learn pretty much anything you need her to learn really fast. A lot of times people say that they worry about taking an older dog because of training. Doesn't matter. Older dogs can learn just the same as younger dogs, but it may take them longer to learn something different than what they were already taught. In Magnolia's case, she hasn't already been taught much at all. So you have that opportunity to tell her how the world is in exactly the way that you want her to know. And as you can see, she really likes being touched. So she obviously was handled a lot when she was young, and she's going to make someone a really great pet. We are back with our special tiny guests that I mentioned earlier in the show. And these are 4 little tiny baby rats. And they look about the size of large mice now. And this is a great age to acquire a pet rat because, as you can see, they're very gentle and curious, and they want to come out of their cage, and they want to, you know, learn about the world. They're very smart. I don't know if anyone is involved in genetics or study of epigenetics, but rats are one of the ways that we found out that your genes actually change. Traits are turned on and turned off based on experiences that your parents have. And I know that's, you know, pretty scary stuff. But rats that learn to run mazes have smarter baby rats that are better at running mazes, and things like that. So these little rats are so young that if they are raised in an enriched environment with people, and they actually have the capability of being smarter and more interesting, more attached to people. And the same is true of humans and dogs and cats. But we learned it first with rats because we were able to structure their environment such that we could prove it. So these little boys, we also have girl baby rats. We separated them because we don't want to have any more baby rats. And we work with a group called Small Angels that you can find online, and they will tell you all about what rats need. And a couple of the things I can tell you that are pretty easy is rats can pretty much eat anything. You need to balance their diet or they'll get fat and be unhealthy just like people. And they also can live in groups. They're very social and they enjoy being together. If you know that you're going to take your rat out a lot and play with him, then you might just want one. But if you know that you're busy and you're probably only going to take him out on weekends or evenings and for short periods of time, then you should get more than one because they'll have each other for company. So we're going to be back after a short break, and we will bring you some more adoptable animals at Frederick County Animal Control.
Hello, my name is Doug Orner, and I serve as Director of Volunteer Fire and Rescue Service for Frederick County. I've been a volunteer with the Vigilant Hose Company in Emmitsburg, Maryland since 1972. Why do I think it would be a good opportunity for you to become a volunteer? It's a great way to meet new people, learn new skills, and also you can receive college credits for some of the training that you receive. And there's always that reward of hearing a special thank you or a smile on somebody's face whenever you've saved a life or helped them in some way, shape, or form. For more information on becoming a volunteer, visit our website, stop by one of our 26 stations throughout Frederick County, or give me a call at the office. I'll be glad to assist you in becoming a volunteer. Look forward to seeing you at one of the stations in the near future.
If you're 55 or older and looking for a way to get moving and strengthen your body, then join the Frederick Senior Center for its strength training class. This class is offered daily and no pre-registration is required. For just $2 a class, you can develop strength, flexibility, balance, and coordination. Strength training also increases your metabolism, which can help control weight gain and help lower your blood pressure. So stop thinking about it and start exercising today. Classes are offered at the Frederick Senior Center, located at 1440 Taney Avenue in Frederick. For more information and class schedules, call 301-600-1605.
We are back with some adoptable cats at Frederick County Animal Control. And I have to tell you that we have a lot of cats right now. We often, when you come to the shelter and you come in and go into the cat room, well, this time of year you'll notice that almost all of the cages are full, and that in some cases we have cats that have double containment areas where they can have their litter pan on one side and pass through a little tunnel to have their bedding on the other side. Well, we've had to have a lot of those cages so that cats only have one cubicle. And the cats don't seem to mind because it is a temporary housing situation. They like to know no one can sneak up behind them and that they have a controlled space that is their own. But it means that we have more cats even than we usually do when we're full. And what we attribute to that this time of year is that we get over 1,000 kittens between April and October every year. Now, the kittens turn over quickly, meaning we place them on the adoption floor, they're selected, we spay and neuter them, they go home. But we have 80 foster homes full with kittens, so we quickly replace them. If you are interested in a kitten, now is a great time of year to come and choose one. But if you've been thinking of getting a cat, we really can use people interested in adopting mature and older cats because, and by mature I just mean a year or older, but we certainly have 7- and 8-year-old cats as well, because they don't get chosen as quickly when kittens are in the building. And Sparkler has been on our TV show before. We're just featuring her again because she wasn't selected. She is a beautiful Dilute tortoiseshell, and although that's a common enough color in cats, usually the gray is really pale, and hers is like almost blue-gray. Lovely cat and very gentle. She has some obviously experience with people, and we would love to find her a new home. We had planned to bring you a cat named Michelle, who I would encourage someone who really likes cats to come and meet her. Michelle arrived in the shelter found near Willowdale wearing a collar. In addition to her regular fabric collar, she even had a flea collar on, but no microchip, no name tag, no telephone number, so we can't find her owner. But when Randy went back to get her today, she said absolutely not is she appearing on TV without contracts and an agent and all kinds of things. So we do not make the cats appear on TV if they don't wish to. And most people who like cats know that cats have strong opinions about a lot of things. So Sparkler is available for adoption, as is Michelle. And Michelle is a brown tabby that's only about a year old. And as I said, she came to us wearing all kinds of collars, but no one has come forward to claim her. And Sparkler, same situation. Beautiful cat, obviously owned. No one came to claim her, so she needs a home as well. We are back with Liberty. And Liberty is a 3- or 4-year-old adult female cat who's already spayed and ready to go to her new home. Her hair is a little longer than the average domestic short hair, big fluffy tail, quite beautiful. And Randy will tell you that ever since she arrived here as a stray, she reaches out and tries to get the cats next to her. She's hard to hold on to. She loves people though, but she is brave and outgoing and has a mind of her own. And she is a great cat. But she got adopted and proceeded to torture the cat who lived there for an entire week. So they brought her back and they said they love her. She was wonderful with them and very outgoing, interactive, and they enjoyed having her. But their cat was completely intimidated by her, hiding under furniture. And they said they just didn't want to obviously you can make that work and let them get used to each other, but they didn't want to do it to their cat, who's a very peaceable guy who just wasn't in the mood for being constantly followed, touched, cried at, and spoken to. So she might make a great companion for a young kitten because she is up to rough and tough play, and she's talkative. But she also would make a great only cat because she likes people so much and she's not shy. If you want a cat that comes out at parties, Liberty is your girl. So if you are interested in finding out more about her, come to the shelter and we will introduce you and see if she's the right cat for you. We are back with Nell, and Nell is an adult female brown tabby who we also found as a stray, so we made up the name Nell. She looks like a tiny little bobcat. She's very pretty, and she came in around the end of July. And one of the things that people sometimes don't know is how many animals we get in the summer, because although I say we get 5,600 a year and that we average about 15 a day, we really get many more in the summer months, especially on the weekends, than we do in the winter. And when Nell arrived on July 25th, we start our fiscal year July 1st. She was already the 458th animal we had gotten since July 1st, before July was even over. So there are a lot of animals in need in Frederick, and while I want to convey that message because it's important that everyone knows there's many animals that need help, it's a tiny percentage of the animals that are kept as pets, because in Frederick, most people acquire animals that they want and keep their animals for their entire lives. It's just that because there are so many animals in Frederick, the number that get in trouble is over 5,000, but most of them are well cared for. I don't want to portray at all that Frederick's not a good place for animals, because we have wonderful animal owners that are spaying stray cats and raising stray kittens, and 80 foster homes that take in kittens for us. There are several rescues in the area that do the same, and it's a great place for animals. But the large number that need help every year that pass through the shelter are a great source for family pets, because as you can see, we spayed Nell shortly after she arrived, and she is, even though she arrived here and we spayed her, which obviously she didn't know what happened, she was sedated, but it's still uncomfortable and a strange place to be. She loves people, loves to be touched, she's quite beautiful, and she's going to make somebody a really wonderful pet. It always amazes me what domesticated animals will accept from humans in order to have the food and shelter and protection of their domestic life. And Nell is no exception. She is also a beautiful cat, beautiful golden eyes. So if you think that Nell might make a good match for you or someone that you know, come in and meet her, pass her picture around, and she is about 3 or 4 years old. So despite her very calm demeanor, it's not that she's an elderly cat. She's just, you know, mellow, sweet. She recently had surgery that obviously plays into her recovery time, but she's going to make somebody a really great pet. So I hope that she will be adopted soon, even though she hasn't been here too long, coming here at the end of July. And she's shedding a little bit, which commonly happens to cats in the fall. So it's just part of owning a cat. Brushing them means that they shed when you want, but you don't have to brush them, but then you have to deal with a little bit of cat hair on your belongings. So let us know if you think Nell is going to make a good match for you. And if not, find her picture on Pet Finder and pass it around. We are back in our kitty cabana with Kelly and Mama Cat. And Mama Cat is now playing with our bird on a string. She came to us as a stray with some kittens, and her kittens have been raised and adopted. and she will follow you anywhere. She's a lovely young cat. She's only a year old herself, and we have her in the kitty cabana because Mama Cat has been with us since April the 3rd. Sometimes it's hard for the adult cats to be chosen during the time that we have plenty of kittens to choose from, and we certainly don't dissuade anyone from getting a kitten if they want to, because we get over 1,000 of them from spring to fall. And Mama Cat is now introducing you to Kelly. And if you can see Kelly, she appears to be a black and white kitten at first. She's also a little over a year old, but she has tan markings, which is quite unusual for a cat. Usually, 3-colored cats are either blue and tan, or gray and tan, and black and orange, but for some reason, she is magically black and tan. So she also has a great personality and likes people. If you don't know much about cat body language, cats that approach with their tail straight up in the air are saying that they are quite interested in making friends. It is a friendly gesture, and both of these cats do it a lot. There is another black and white cat in this room that we're not featuring on the TV show today because she's scared, and she'll come out if she wants to. And Mama Cat and Kelly will introduce her to the freedom of the kitty cabana. And really what's nice about the kitty cabana is some of the cats that have been with us for a bit of time get to come in here, especially if they like other cats. But you can unfold one of our folding chairs and sit in here and see if they approach you and interact with them. And it's a great way to meet cats that you may want to adopt. The nice thing about having cats in the kitty cabana is this interaction. You know, Randy gets to sit in here and pet them, and they get to run around and have exercise. It also helps people who want to adopt more than one cat, because if you already know that they've been introduced to each other and that they get along well, then you can choose 2 cats out of the cabana, and that helps you to, you don't have to go through the introduction process at your home. So we invite our volunteers and potential adopters to come to the kitty cabana and meet our free-roaming cats. They change frequently, and how we introduce a new cat is putting them in the condo that's in here so that they can meet without being able to touch until we make sure that they're all happy about the situation. And if you are interested in adopting a cat and want to know more about them than is easy to find out meeting them in a cage, this is a great way to do it. And there are some shelters that are able to have lots of space like this for their cats. We are careful because we want to also manage exposure to colds and parasites. So we do a little bit of both, separate cage living as well as colony living, so that you can have a choice when you come to the shelter, and which we encourage you to do even if you're not considering adopting. It's good to be familiar with the animal shelter in your area in case you ever find a lost pet, or if you want to do some volunteer work. Thank you for joining us this week. Perhaps you have seen an animal that tugs at your heartstrings and makes you want to come in and find out more. If you are not able to adopt at this time, we totally understand that. But we can take used sheets and towels, used pet supplies. If you have time to donate, we have a great volunteer program. So please consider getting in touch with us. If you want to know more about any of the animals you've seen today, check out the link on the screen below and share it around to help us get the word out about adoptable animals in Frederick County. And thanks for joining us. I hope we see you next time on Pet Pals.